Hello, today we are on the assignment for making and evaluating a histogram using Desmos.com. So far, we've been using kind of doing it manually, like with a calculator, figuring out the average and the mean and things like that. But now what we're going to do is we're going to use technology because in the real world, we've got it. We've got technology, so obviously we should use it, especially when we start getting more realistic data sets that may have hundreds or thousands of data points that we need to evaluate that we're not going to just enter in and use a calculator on. So Desmos.com, I think we've used it already in the class, so you should be familiar, but here's the, go ahead and click on this link, please. You already have if you're watching the video, probably. The first thing I want you to do is open up this worksheet here. You're watching the video right here. So I want you to please open up this worksheet right here. Oops, my bad. So I want you to open up this this worksheet because we're going to be referring to that. If you want, you can open it in Kami too so you can take notes. Mine's taking a while to load. There we go. So open this up, please. Okay, so there you go. So there's going to be, this is what you should get, notes using Desmos to evaluate data sets. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to basically take some data points, we're going to start with a real basic set first. And these are the steps that we're going to go through right here. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is you want to go to Desmos.com. Okay, which I should put like this. Let's go to this. Okay, so Desmos .com. So we're going to go there, okay? So copy. So we're going to go open up a new browser, put in Desmos.com, okay? Desmos.com, and click open graphing calculator, okay? So that's where we're going to enter our data right here. So the first thing we need to do is get some data, right? So the data that you have is the example you see is here. Let me see. I'm going to make this go back a little. There we go. So I've only got 5 numbers. I'm going to make it simple for you, okay? And so we don't have to spend a lot of time entering a bunch of data. But anyway, so here's the data right here, right? So it's I've got 2 2s, a 3, a 5, and a 7. The first thing we do is we need to put the data set in. And you need to come up with a name for it. I'm going to call it A equals, my data set is A. It doesn't matter. I could make it data set B or C, but once you make it A, then once you start getting information about it, it's going to also need to be A and consistent. But here's our values, okay? So 2, 2, 3, 5, 7. So I'm going to go back to Desmos. Where'd it go? Get back here. So I have to go, I'm making my capital A equals, and then I'm going to hit, you can see it on your keyboard, you can do that, but where is it over here? It's going to be, okay, this one right here. Okay, see this one? That's going to be that. Then there was a 2, comma, 2, what were the other ones? 2, 2, 3, 5, 7. And then comma, 3, comma, 5, comma, 7. Now I need to enclose it with this bar over here, so I'm going to go down here. Ooh, that's the wrong one. So I'm going to go back. Where's the other side? Hold on. Okay, to get this side right here, I have to hit shift, and then this switches over so I can hit that. If you're on a keyboard, it's easier. I think where the P key is, P is in Peter, you have those 2 brackets there, so I think that's easier to do. But anyway, the point is we entered in the actual data. So in the future, you can for today's assignment, I'll just have you type it in. But in the future, we're gonna get it from a spreadsheet and paste it in. Okay, step number 1 done. So now we're gonna go back to my sheet. And what does it say again? It says, now we're going to create a dot plot. You've seen dot plots before. So this is the command, dot plot A1. I'm going to copy and paste it like that. But I mean, you can also type in Control V. So there we go, dot plot A. And again, as long as it's A and it's 1, that means the bin width. We talked about that. So this is what you should get. By the way, you can zoom in, zoom out, but you basically want to zoom in to get all the values as big as you can get it. So there you go. That's what a dot plot looks like. We've looked at that before. There's 2 2s. Now, the way it splits up here are by 2s. I'd like to see it a little bit, since there's not that much data, there's not a big range or domain. I'm going to go over here to this toolbar, and I'm going to make the x-axis it goes in steps. So I'm going to make mine 1. And see how this made 1? Now I don't need all the grid lines because all my numbers are whole numbers, so I might get rid of the grid to make it, whoops, not the big grid, small minor grid. Okay, there we go. See how nice and neat that is? Okay, so you can do that. There's your data points. I could do it for the y-axis too. Let me do it for the y-axis. It makes it easier to read left and right. So the y-axis, I'm going to make it a step of, where'd that go? Hold on. 1. Check it out. Now I have these go up by 1 and those go up by 1. Sometimes you can make it by 5, by 10, whatever looks good with your data. The bottom line is you're presenting your data in a way that's easy for the reader, the viewer, to see it and make summaries about it. Okay, so we've got a dot plot. What are we doing next? Next, we're going to make a histogram like this. So again, it's basically you type this in or you go like this. Now, a few things to know about it. The first number is your data set, so the A is your data set. The second number is your bin. So check this out. This is going to go, get away from me, keyboard, go bye-bye. There we go. So as you notice, this goes, for some reason it's got it at 1.5, but it goes up to 4.5. So it goes 1, 2, 3. So all the data is contained within there, okay? So see how we've got 1, 2, 3 dots within this range? Well, if you go to the top of this range, it goes 1, 2, 3. So it tells us within this range, there's 3. If we did not see the dot plots, let me go, as a matter of fact, I'm going to turn off the dot plots real quick. Check it out. Boom, they're off, but I can still see the histogram. So there, I don't know if it's a 2 or 3 or a 4, but you know what? Within that bin, I know there's 1, 2, 3 values in there, but now I see the actual specific values. Again, remember, that's the value of a dot plot. Okay, so good, we've got a histogram. Now, I could make the bins bigger. For this data here, this is not bad to have it like that, but if I had a lot of data, I might make it bins of, say, 5. So check it out. Now, it goes from 2.5 to 7.5. That doesn't match this data very well, so I'm just going to leave it at 3 for now. I just wanted you to see what happens. As a matter of fact, for this data, it's probably better to have it 2. Yeah, maybe something like that, right? Okay, anyway, you get the idea. That's how you can create a histogram. But I'm going to leave it at 3 since that's what you see. Okay, good. So we got a histogram. Now, what next? Now we're going to do, what other information can we have? Well, what it says is the evaluation. This is the same thing you're seeing on the screen. Bin 1 has the most data points, okay, from 2 to 4. Also, 2 shows up the most, so it's the mode, okay? So here, if you've got a data plot, you can see the mode. Now, you could also see the data bin that's got the most from 2 to 4 has got the most, so you can say that's the mode range or bin. Okay, so there's that. Okay, what else can we get? Not only that, but check it out. We can also get other values. We can get the mean and the median by just typing in this command. So we can go mean for data set A. We go over here. So it tells us it's 3.8. Isn't that nice and neat? Just takes that data and calculates it for us really quick. We don't have to enter it in. So that the mean is 3.8. And we can copy this. The median is 3. Okay, see how nice and neat that is? So we know the mode. So basically, we did from the last test. So here we can see the mode is 2 visually by looking at a dot plot. The mean is it calculates this for it, and there you have it. Now here's the cool thing. I'm going to do one more data set for you. I want you to see this, and I'm going to do a quick data set. But basically, this is the first data set. Now let's pick another data set. But what I'm going to do first is I'm going to save this. So what you can do is you can log in if you've got an account. I'm going to continue with Google. Okay. So I'm logged in. See, it says it knows my first name. But I'm going to save it as histogram in Desmos. You can type it like that or something that you remember. Why is that nice to do? Because the time that I spent doing this, if I close this and I open up a new browser and I go to Desmos, I'd have to start over with all those commands. It didn't take a long time, but you know what? Why not just get my data? Let's see where my files are. Check it out. Here it is, histogram in Desmos. Click on that. Double click, I guess. There you go. Boom. So now, why is that a benefit? Because what if I have more data? Say I want to do something. Now I want to do other values. Let's say I want to do my grades on a test, right? 80, 60, 57, comma, 29, comma, 50, comma, 98, comma. It doesn't have to be in order either. Now, one thing you're going to notice real quick, I've still got all this information. It shows me the mean right away, which is nice. It shows me the median right away, which is nice. But I don't see my dot plot. How am I going to figure out the mode, right? So first of all, look at the values. They're pretty big, right? You got 80, 60, 57. You can use your mouse to go to, or you can like use your fingers. You can use this to go plus or minus. So obviously there they are. Okay, so there's my values. Now I'm going to make them focus in, but you know what? This is not good. Well, let's see what we can do like this. Here's a good example of where the data is split up way so much, and there's not that many values for one, that it's going to make more sense for me to have a bigger bin. So maybe I'll have something like that. So I get a histogram that's kind of a little bit easier to read. So they're apart by what, 40? Let me make it 20 and see what happens. You can play around. There you go. That's kind of not bad. But you know what? Look how flat this is. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this value over here, because all my biggest values don't show up very much. So I'm going to go ahead and make my fingers on the y-axis until I get something like that. And then I take my other fingers like that. And then I get something that's a little bit easier. Now, do I have a mode? No, they all show up only one time. Now I'm going to click another number so that we can see a mode. So what do we get? We get 57. I'm going to type 57 again. Boom. And now all of a sudden I can see 57 is the mode. Okay, but that's how it works, guys. So that's how you can use Desmos to get all this good information. Oh, one last thing. I don't know if this assignment is asking about skew, but we could also test skew, right? We could also test, is it uniform? Is it skew? So we could test that kind of information. What was the last data? 2, 3, 5, 7. Now I'm going to have to make this smaller again. Where'd that go? Where'd my data go? Oh, I got a comma in there. I got to take the last comma out. Okay, so I'm going to have to stretch this out so I can kind of see it, right? Go back to my histogram, make it 3. And then, let's see. So what would you say the skew is on that? I mean, there's only 2 bars. There's not that many. But for one thing, the tail goes this way, so it skews to the right. It goes down to the right, right? There you go. Now, if I only had 1, 2, this would be a uniform distribution, right? It wouldn't really skew. It would be a uniform symmetric distribution. So my next assignment after today will probably have you guys dig a little bit more into those kind of factors. But for today, I just want to make sure you know how to use Desmos to create a histogram, a dot plot, you get the mean, median, and the mode, okay? Now, the rest of the assignment is going to be back. Hold on, let me pause this. Okay, so the rest of the assignment is going to be right here. If you open this up, so go ahead and open that up and open it in Kami so you can mark it up. But you're going to come back here and you're going to put your answers in here, okay? Round it to the nearest 10th, okay? Okay, so when you get it, this is going to be what the assignment looks like, using technology to evaluate data in a histogram. It can ask you for the mode, the median, the mean, which one has the most data points, which data points fall in that bin. So basically, there's just going to be these sets right here. So you can just manually enter those back into Desmos, each of the set, and then answer the questions. And that'll allow you to complete the assignment, okay? And then again, like I said, you come back here and you put them in here, and that'll be the assignment for today.